And now progress is being made at the Scandia Cemetery where human remains were unearthed due to shoreline erosion. Neither the city or county bear responsibility to aid in alleviating the erosion, but doing the right thing is taking precedent. I spoke with officials who are breaking it all down. Since 1900, the Scandia Cemetery off of London Road has been the site of some 1,500 graves. The constant thrashing of Lake Superior over the years continues to erode the shoreline. That's led to some of these graves being unearthed since August.
When we found those bones over the summer on the beach, that it needs to be a priority for 2025 and 26 for the city of Duluth and St. Louis County in our state legislature.
St. Louis County sent Public Works out as well as worked with LHB Engineering to find the best possible solution to alleviate the erosion. They determined a $2.5 million retaining wall is needed.
This is not a Republican or Democratic issue down at the state, but one of a need to tidy up the cemetery.
The goal is to ask the state for the $2.5 million in environmental emergency funding this legislative session. The city of Duluth is also partnering to help move the process along.
When someone passes away and they get buried somewhere, they're kind of meant to remain there as long as possible. And so we don't want to see this continuing to slowly erode into Lake Superior.
Officials say of the 1,500 plots on site, 175 graves are the biggest concern. If the state grants emergency funding, the retaining wall would protect more than just a cemetery from erosion, but nearby properties as well.
You know, if any of us were being optimistic, we would have wanted to see this started yesterday.
Reporting in Duluth, Dominic Vitiello, Northern News Now.